love me, please don't judge me. Got my hands tied, the power's above me. Don't shoot the messenger, I'm just a puppet here. If you wanna place blame, then look to the puppeteer. Family, fortune, envy, jealousy, privilege, passed on, legacy, secret, sabotage, borderline, felony, suicide, subtract, selfish, pedigree. When the love's gone and the hate's there, better watch out, cause it ain't fair. And your family ain't your family, and your legacy is just a name there. In your mother's eyes.
Welcome back to the We Was Watching podcast. I'm your host, Brandon C.
I'm your other host, Chanel C.
No, you're Chanel Kobelvik today with your pigtails.
I'm Kobelvik now?
You got pigtails.
That's funny. Yeah,
Chanel,
I guess I am Kobelvik. I wonder if we'll ever see her again.
we'll see her again, probably next episode. But you're back to talk about Severance, season 2, episode 4, Woe's Hollow. A unique episode for a unique show.
Very special. Yeah, very different.
And so that was actually pretty cool to see. But before we get into that, if you listen to us on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, please leave us a review. If it's a 5-star review, we'll read it on the show. Those help us out a lot. You can also watch us stream live every time we go live on YouTube at youtube.com/@WeWasWatching, or just search for We Was Watching Podcast. And please go and subscribe to our channel, like our videos, and hit that notification bell. It'll let you know exactly when we're going live, and you can interact with us in the chat like we do every week. You can also email the show at wewaswatchingpodcast@gmail.com, and you can interact with us on Twitter and Blue Sky at WeWasWatching on both of those social networks. Did we get any reviews, Chanel? I didn't check.
We didn't, and I just want to know what's going on, guys. It's February. Let's start reviewing the podcast. I would love to do this every week. So if you haven't reviewed it yet, take a second, go to Apple Podcasts and write us out 5 stars and write a little jingle. If not, share it with your friends and encourage them to do it. And if you can't do that, rate us on Spotify, like us everywhere you're listening. That would be great.
All right. So before we get into this episode, we're not going to review these shows, but Chanel told me to watch Paradise. And I watched Paradise because when Chanel asked me to watch a show, I watch it. It don't work that way the other way around.
Here we go.
The other way around, it don't work. But if she asks me to watch something, within a couple of days, I'm there. I'm there.
Yep.
And so I went and watched Paradise. And Paradise is very much like Silo. It's very much like Silo. And I'm really enjoying it.
Watch it. That's why I wanted you to watch it. Exactly.
It's a great show. It's got Sterling K. Brown.
It does.
And a bunch of other people. Oh, it's got my homegirl from For All Mankind, the black woman. So you can watch her in there too. I forget her name, but she's from For All Mankind. And James Marsden, right? Cyclops is in the TV show. And I don't know the other people's names.
I have a couple things. I do have a couple things to bring up. Okay, first of all, yeah, James Marsden, which is great because that's Teddy from Westworld.
No, it's Cyclops.
Then, okay, from forever ago, from when we were children.
When you were a child, yes.
You got to do the most recent. It guess it could either be the most recent or the biggest ever. You think Cyclops was James Marsden's biggest ever role?
Yes.
Okay, fair enough. So I do, yeah, it was like I was watching Paradise and I was like, I wonder what this is about. And then the very end, I was like, oh, Brandon would like to watch this because it makes itself sci-fi randomly. But yeah, I do think it's a good show. And I forget sometimes that Sterling K. Brown started with TV or like got big in a TV show because I think of him as like this big movie star who's so good in everything he does. Like if you haven't seen American Fiction, go watch him in that because he's very good. So I like seeing him in these different roles. So yeah, I do enjoy Paradise, although I'm not up to date right now, even though I told you about it and I had already binged it. And I also have been watching The Night Agent on Netflix. I haven't told you about that because it's just like a show where it's not even that good, but like the twists and turns makes you keep watching it. So that's what I've been watching. And obviously Severance. And then, oh my gosh, Invincible came back and we don't have that on our schedule, but I will obviously be watching that.
Yeah, we're about to do 2 shows at one time, which if you know Chanel's schedule is going to be fun to figure out, but we can't add a 3rd one. Although I'm very excited about Invincible, even though I haven't watched it yet. I'm going to watch it tonight, probably after we record. the first 3 episodes.
Brandon,
So
we
I'm very
have
excited about that.
we didn't have any reviews, but I do have 2 comments on the YouTube that I need to bring up with you. We need to address these. Brandon, I haven't
comments?
seen these until just now, and Brandon is just not saying them. I'm gonna read them to you. You ready?
Yeah.
So 3 days ago, last time we streamed, BJ76 says, "You two are a fucking delight and watch all of my favorite shows. I was laughing 5 minutes in. I will let the Reddit world know you exist. Thank you, Big J, because obviously I'm not allowed to." But then we have a different kind of comment. We have some feedback. Are you prepared to hear this feedback?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, Ed Della's daughter says, "I want to like this podcast so badly, but the truth is the co-hosts have no chemistry."
That's right.
It's an hour of Brandon making the same jokes on Chanel interrupting his skits, and Brandon somehow not noticing or acknowledging any of Chanel's jokes or references. It seems Brandon just wanted his own podcast and would force to have Chanel join.
There's a podcast called the Dan Lebertard Show, which is my favorite sports podcast. And one of the things they have on there, they have a t-shirt and they have a clip and they play it all the time. And it's called, and they say, "You don't get the show." And because they do things on the show and then people email them and they complain about the bit when it's the bit. And so that's just because you probably haven't watched this long enough. So you don't get the show.
I know I'm not done though. He genuinely doesn't like her or find her entertaining and is a constant contrarian. I wanted to support Black podcasters, but there's no yes and or improvisational energy. Chanel, find another channel where someone will actually speak with you and not just talk at you. Damn. You got to sit with that.
Listen, I'm trying to appeal to the Manoverse. I want Elon Musk is taking over. I want his people to watch the show. And they don't let women talk. So I got to limit how much you can talk.
Here's what's actually happening. Brandon is reading his notes. And so when I'm joking, he can't concentrate on both things. That's the reality of the situation. Like, I think Brandon hears what I say, but he's also trying not to lose track. That's the number one reason I think that you don't respond to my jokes.
You don't even get the show.
Oh, I don't get the show either? Tell me what I don't get.
I get your jokes. I don't respond to them. That's the joke.
Oh, so you're contrarian on purpose.
Yeah.
Okay. So guys, we figured it out. But I do think it's so funny to be like, you just wanted the show and I'm forced here because of DEI, when the truth is, like, if you guys go back literally 3 years, me and Brandon became podcast co-hosts because we're the only 2 people in the universe who feel the same way about the Problem Child movie. And I was like, I had to podcast with someone who sees Junior the same way I do. That's it. That's how it started. Right. That's how it's going. And then there was a time when the podcast was so discontinuous because of school, and Brandon kept the podcast going. So if Brandon wanted to find another co-host, I would have pulled up one day and we was watching, it would have been another bitch. So I will say that Brandon does want to co-host with me, and I'm not always the best co-host either. So thank you for acknowledging me. Please come back and listen to more episodes to see if it gets better. But I do not feel frustrated on this podcast because the truth is, I often am pulling up right at 9:30 when we start the stream, and Brandon is just sitting there with his notes ready to go. So thank you, but I'd rather you.
I need more of that. Everybody comes up here and talks bad about you. I need more of that about me. More of that about me.
Well, if you really want to stand up for me, watch us stream and be in the chat, because that's what I need. If I'm very in the moment, so if you support me in the chat, it means a lot. The comments afterwards don't really do much for me. I'm already thinking about something else. Okay, we are speaking of the chat. Hi guys, what's up? DJ Rated R is here. Draco Beamish is here. Draco Beamish is already Team Irv. I can't imagine not being Team Irv. I can't imagine not. I can't imagine. Like, we need speaking of shirts, we need an Irv memorial shirt.
Oh yeah,
you can make $1 million right now with that on Etsy.
What did I call it in my notes? I think I called it his last rites. The Milchek read him his last rites. So yeah,
Milchek was mad. Milchek was making up Shakespeare. That's how mad he was.
I got a lot of Milchek clips today, Chanel. A lot of Milchek clips because I thought he was on one this episode.
Because he talks as if it'll be a situation that's so custom made, and he will talk as if there's a line in the handbook specifically made for that. Like, how is he that zoned into his job? He goes, he referenced Woe's Hollow as if it's in the handbook that you cannot commit murder at Woe's Hollow. Like, what the fuck is this? I love this show.
You ever notice how he stands and looks? You know what he looks like, and it's you're probably not gonna get what I'm saying, but if you Google it, you'll get it. He looks like Pennywise when he be
Why wouldn't I
standing.
get what he's saying? Pennywise, what? So he looks like a what's the name?
They
of that
always
family?
show him standing, and he always has like this look on his face, and he's just like Pennywise's face. I got
He's
it
a
in a
Black Stars
screenshot.
guard, is what you're saying? Is that what you're saying? He's a Black Stars guard.
No, it's not that.
I see it. No, I see it.
Let me find the one.
Not
where it is.
Pennywise, Sarsgaard. Forget that. I feel like he looks
Look at
like
him.
he's
Look
a
at this
fifth
one.
member of the family. Yeah, that's scary. No, he did look scary as fuck on the screen. Why did he look like this?
He always does that. He always does that look, and it be tripping me out.
I was like, this is a horror movie, bro. But I will say that, like, you know, they always say the Culkins versus the Sarsgaard, and even the Culkins were like, yeah, they whip our ass. Can you imagine Anna Trammell Tillman as like their fifth man? They would be demolished.
That's what I'm talking about, Fisher. I'm here to support Belt the Water. You know Belt the Water? You know what that's from?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
The greatest sci-fi show of all time.
Belta Lauda. You said it
The
wrong.
Expanse. No.
Okay, I didn't. Oh yeah, I'm not up on. You asked me to watch shows that have 20 episodes and are deep science fiction where I have to like pay attention. I can't look at my phone and watch that.
It's only the greatest sci-fi show to ever live. Am I right, Fisher?
And I'm supposed to watch All of Mankind, and I'm supposed to finish Foundation, and I'm supposed to watch my bullshit that I like to watch.
Thumbs up in the chat if The Expanse is the best show of all time. Or put F's in the chat, whatever.
Let alone the fact it took you 5 years to watch Industry.
I watched it though.
Okay,
I only missed 1.5 seasons. Or 2 seasons. I only missed 2 seasons.
I'm gonna watch Expanse, don't you worry.
So yeah, The Expanse is great.
Hey, Fisher Protocol.
So Chanel, what'd you think of this unique episode? Woe's Hollow.
So good. Why did you tell me it reminded you of Industry?
Because they're just burning through plot. We already got Mark reintegrated. There's 4 episodes, okay? They've already come back. We found out.
I get what you're saying.
We found out. We saw a new MDR team, and then they're gone. We found out. We saw them get fired and then rehired. Okay.
You're right.
We saw Mark get reintegrated.
You're right.
We saw, and then we saw the Helena reveal, and it's only been 4 episodes. It's only been 4 episodes.
That. You're right.
So it's burning through this plot.
I thought you meant stylistically, because I was like, this is definitely The Revenant. Like, what the fuck? This is all ice. This is all Ice Age. Actually, let me see. I feel like Ben Stiller was in Ice Age too. Am I crazy?
No. Well, you think he's in any animated movie because he was in Madagascar?
I just feel like, then we, yeah, exactly. I do think he's in a movie. Okay, I'm off on the Ice Age thing, but I was just wondering. So, I actually do watch like the afterwards, like why do they make it stuff? And I did think it was really interesting how they like doing this off location was a big, like they already create these mazes and these super complicated sets. So apparently for them to do this in location and not to disturb the forest that they were shooting in, they had to build like a 1/4-mile bridge over the trees or some shit so they could get all the stuff in. So they do a lot for this show. I think I watch the show and I always think this is where the budget goes. It's people it's somebody writing a script and not being like, all right, let's change the script so it can be done. It's more like, all right, let's write the script and let the production team rise to the level of the show. And I think that's why Apple had such a good, Apple has such a great reputation for good shows because they don't limit creativity based on like what the resources are. They're like, oh, we'll find the money. I really love a production company that will find the money.
They spent $20 million an episode this season. So this was an expensive season of television.
And I just don't but I will say this, though, how are they recouping that money? I'm not giving Apple $20 a month, let alone.
No, well, they get a lot of new subscribers from this show. And then the hope is that those subscribers stay. Because the whole content game is just keep putting out content and then everything else falls in the back end. So that's what it is.
This is why.
And I think they came, Chanel, I think they said something about this. I meant to tell you this. Severance viewership. It came out Severance season 2 viewership. I think they said 300 in the first week. Severance had 372 million minutes watched in the first week that the show came out. So they got a lot of new subscribers to watch this show. So that's how they recoup the money.
Yeah, it's just amazing. Like streaming is such a dangerous game because you can really lose a lot of money on streaming and like making our dreams come true on TV. So I'm glad we have Severance. I will continue to enjoy it while it lasts.
I thought this episode was very unique and bold. I thought it was very bold to do something
Very
like this,
bold.
given the concept of the show and the set pieces that we've seen throughout the first season in 3 episodes. That to do something like completely counter to that was to take a shot. I know that some people were a bit confused by this episode because they thought it wasn't real, right? It was a dream state. It was like, what the hell is happening here? But I think pretty quickly we found out that it was real. And like Chanel said, I thought it was really cool that they did, like Adam Scott said that they did this shit like for real. So like John Turturro was on a frozen lake and Adam Scott was on a cliff and they were yelling at each other and they just filmed it. Or like the scene at the end where the MDR cubicles are in the forest, they actually put the cubicles in the forest. That wasn't CG. They found a place that was like, oh, this looks creepy. Let's put the cubicles there. And then they put the cubicles there. And I was like, that's really fucking cool. So I thought that was a really good thing. Before we get into this episode, we have a couple comments. Fisher says he's not going to go there, but Expanse is up there. Okay, that's fair. I think Apple doesn't need the streaming business, but as far as sci-fi goes, Apple's the spot right now. For All Mankind Foundation, yeah. For All Mankind and Foundation are incredible.
They also have one of my favorite shows, Soul Horses. So they have good shows. I haven't gotten into like Shrinking and the other shows they keep trying to force on me, but there's a couple shows I've loved on Apple TV, like Physical, which is done. Like the series is over. I've enjoyed that. Yeah, like Apple's giving it. Apple's serving.
They got a new one called Prime Target that I think I might check out because I've heard some good things about that. Okay, so we done our 15 minutes of bullshit.
I just realized something.
What?
We're boycotting Prime Video. Why? I don't have a Prime account anymore because of Amazon.
Oh yeah, you can go ahead and do that.
I'll be supporting
Amazon
anti-DEI initiatives.
That's right. Anti-DEI to have my two-day packages. That's right. I'll make that trade. Keep sending me my packages.
And the revolution will be transported to your door in 2 hours.
That's exactly. I can buy my pro DEI books and everything and get them in 2 days.
I don't know if that's making the difference you think.
In 2 days.
I think they're still like, I don't think they give a fuck what you're buying. They're just like, yeah, we're still going to town with it. We're still able to eat steak. So let's not change
support all my black businesses, vendors on Amazon in 2 days.
Oh yeah, you're definitely going out of your way to shop black on Amazon.
They even have a tab for it. No, they got a tab.
And you're doing it every time.
Yeah, unlike you rather boycott the black people to support the. I'm a boycott the black people to support the black people.
Tabitha Brown, suck it.
Me, I support the
Auntie Tabs. You gonna have to sit this one out.
What does she do? Why she got to sit it out?
She has first of all, Target's stupid as fuck because Target was one of the best stores because of the diversity, because of the pride stuff, because of the black focus. Like I trusted Target to be able to be like, all right, I can go here and get everything I need. I even knew people who worked in DEI in Target and they're all gone. And so it's like Tabitha Brown was one of the creators who they highlighted. And so when people started saying they were going to boycott Target, she was like, no, don't do that. But it's like, babes, you're mad because it's your line that's being hurt. And I know you're going to be hurt, but you need to be mad at Target. Don't be mad at us for telling Target how we feel. Be mad at Target. Like, it's kind of like, I understand you're upset, but this is a short-term setback for the longer-term message. And if you're not willing to make the sacrifice, you're forgetting that like so many other people are already hurt by this decision. Like you're just one of the people who could benefit from not taking action, but people are hurt by this action. So anyway, she got to kick rocks on this one.
All right.
She'll be
I'll
okay.
keep supporting the black women.
By
Episode 4.
ultimately, and a white man gets paid off of all of that.
So now, okay,
White
so you're
man
gonna
gets
be
paid off of all
pro
of that.
Kanye today, huh?
And a
Interesting
white-
choice. Interesting
Okay,
choice
let's
by
start the
you.
show. Let's start the show because that man.
Woes Hollow. Chanel, did you
What an episode.
enjoy your outdoor retreat team building occurrence?
My Ortbo, I felt that it was adequate.
Okay, good. It's the Ortbo started on the frozen lake. Irv's Annie wakes up. It's snowing outside, and they out there on the frozen lake, and they got on the fur hats and coats. You know what they look like? You know, they look like
The Hasidic Jews.
no.
Oh.
They look like if it was a stereotype of a Russian doing that kicking dance. You know the kicking dance.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I thought. That's what it looked like to me. They had that type of outfit.
I mean,
on.
they had them furs on, baby. Like they was all coordinated, and it was very interesting because I'm in a sorority, and so like colors matter. And it was very interesting that they all had on black and all management had on white. Like I just think all of that is like a thing. But yeah, they wake up in this like huge lake. Like if Brandon said, this is all filmed on location. So like he's in the middle of an iced out lake, runs across, sees Mark, and then basically over time we're going to see everybody else pop up. But we only see Irving's entrance, and so I have no idea how the fuck. Like we got the elevator sound on the ice, so somehow he woke up on the ice. As if he just came down the elevator. Very interesting. So they're clearly in this instance using the different protocols with the chip from like a remote location because they're not physically coming down the separate elevator right now.
Well, there was a big hint to what happened because Mark, when Irv got up there, so Mark yells at him like, "Hey, come up here. There's a path up the cliff." So they come up the cliff, and Irv says, "Hey, I woke up on the lake. What happened with you?" And Mark said, "I woke up on the lake too, and then I came up on the cliff." But Helly said, "I woke up on the cliff."
I don't know. She's like, I don't know. It's like, exactly, bitch. We know you didn't wake up the same way they said it. You got helicoptered in, how?
So she ain't say no shit. So they come up there. Then Dylan shows up, and Dylan is excited as pie to see the outside. He couldn't wait to see the outside. In fact, he said, "I knew there was no ceiling outside, but I couldn't believe it."
Meant. Oh yeah, Dylan has never seen outside, so this was amazing for him. It was probably more than he would have seen. Like it's more than he could have imagined, even if he had seen the other outside. So happy for Dylan that he finally had his moment.
Then they walk up and they see this old ass TV set up on a cliff. By the way, they're playing like a Nintendo MIDI theme, like when it comes up. And on top of that, the TV is not plugged into nothing. There's no power.
I was like, this is next level in equipment because there's no this is all solar. This is 100% solar.
So, and then we got this clip because I thought this was fucking funny, but also creepy. Also, look at Milchek, man. Look how he's standing there. It's so creepy.
He looks so much better than they have him shot right here. Like, where's the music coming from?
It was one of those DVD, like, you know, remember on DVDs they used to have the menu screen, and the menu screen would like play music and stuff. I feel like that's what it was supposed to mimic. Although I'm surprised they went to DVD given Lumen. I would have expected definitely a VHS from Lumen.
Okay, hold on. There's a lot happening in the chat, but I want to say that in general, this reminds me of, you know, when you finish refining something and they get that whole little like video game sequence.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
I just feel like, they're just like video gamifying everything. And I just didn't understand the chat would be mad that I haven't watched The Expanse. It's on the list.
Thank you, chat. Thank you, chat. We appreciate you.
Good morning, refiners. This is Mr. Milchek from work. and I'm thrilled to welcome you to your...
Has there ever been someone more terrible who sounds more pleasant at this every time you hear him talk? He sounds so pleasant.
From work. Hey, he sounds like the flight attendant that wakes you up from a nap to give you snacks, but he actually is waking you up in hell.
Your first ever outdoor retreat and team building occurrence. This...
Did you know if you rearrange the letters Ortbo, it spells robot?
Ortbo
Keep playing the video.
is in response to your desire to see the outside world. With your Audi's blessings, you will spend the next 2 calendar days walking the meadows, thickets, brambles, and brooks that make up the Dieter-Egan National Forest.
Who the fuck is Dieter-Egan?
Dieter-Egan?
What was that?
He said, "Oh, I know y'all. I know what I can tell you right now. MDR is gonna say, Irving's either gonna say, I've never heard of a Dieter-Egan in the books, or Dylan's gonna say, who the fuck? He probably just knows them so well.
Yeah.
Some of you may be quietly yearning to learn more.
Quietly
truth-
yearning.
Lies within the 4th appendix. Kier dictated a 4th appendix in his final hours of life, a text of such sanctity that it is forbidden upon the severed floor. It's waiting for you in Scissor Cave, the very same grotto where...
Listen to the
The music is scary.
listen to the music change.
Here Egan tamed the 4 tempers for the very first time. And do remember, stray not from Kier's path, lest you royal nature's wrath. There will be help along the way. Happy fortunes, MDR.
This shit is scary as fuck.
All right, so I got some questions for you in the chat. Is Milchek the greatest manager of all time? Or is he following some handbook? Right? Like, is he coming up with this shit? Did he come up with Ortbo? Did he edit the video and create this video to put out? Did he pick the location for them to show up and the marshmallows and the books to read and story time with Mr. Milchek? Like, did he plan this field trip, or was this like something that was like a Lumen staple that he just took? He was like, I'm going to implement the Ortbo trip.
You're saying is he the greatest, but you mean is he the most diabolical ever? Is that what you mean to say?
No, I mean great. Like, I couldn't come up with this shit at work. Like the shit he be coming up with to do for the innies. I couldn't come up with that shit. That's the most creative man on the planet.
Yeah, no, I think that's what I actually. Okay, so you know how I've been trying to play around with the idea that that there is no board. Like, I'm sure there is a board, right? But say there isn't, then maybe we're in a environment where like they really are just making it all up as they go, and they just have one objective and they need to do everything they can to get there. Or on the flip side, if there is a board, then yes, all of this is dictated, written down. They've been doing this shit for hundreds of years, and they are the most manipulative company in the world. Like, they know exactly how to take advantage of people. Like, they know what they've done the tests and the experiments on innies, and they know what to expect. That's what I would give to them.
DJ Rated R on YouTube says, I think he's following the propaganda handbook. And Fisher Protocol says the Ortbo is something they always have. I feel this was constructed with him and Helena. Interesting. I mean, I want to know, did Mr. Milchek go up to their Audis and be like, hey, dog, listen, your innies, they ain't never seen outside. So we have a thing that we do for innies, the Ortbo, and our Ortbo this year is going to be at this lake. We're going to go camping. So you're going to have to give your innies a couple days, right? To take over the body, but we're gonna be at this camping site, and it's just to improve morale after the stuff that happened last year. Like, is that what happened? Like, I'm very curious about all of that, because this was so ridiculous just to end up in the middle of the forest.
I think, I mean, you actually have a point because I didn't realize they really would be spend the night. Like, I thought that they were going to do that. Okay, here, side note, because I was thinking when you go to work, you do not want to walk the wilderness for 8 hours. Even if your job is to walk in the jungle for 8 hours, you don't want to walk in the forest for 8 hours. You don't want to like get to work and be like, actually today we're not going through a safari, we're going through the winter wonderland. Like, it's just, can you imagine clocking in and be like, this is what you have to do for the next 8 hours? There's no other option. Like, that to me is slavery, one. Secondly, I was thinking like, okay, it is crazy how their innies really go through shit that like there's nobody governing this. Like, they truly do go through physical and mental torture. And then the third thing I realized was when they did spend the night, they did actually have to have like approval for that. So the 4 approvals will be different, right? So Irving's going to say yes to everything because Irving wants to stay close and get more information. Dylan's down for whatever because that means you don't have to watch his damn kids. Or like maybe he doesn't hate his kids, but like he's like, oh sure, sleepover. Helly, we already know, is like enjoying all this shit. She's diabolical and evil. And then Mark is like, this actually might have been the night that Mark.
No, he already been reintegrated because he had that scene when he was fucking Helena, where he thought she was Gemma.
So you don't think it happened during that scene?
I don't think what happened.
You don't think that's when he reintegrated, was during the sex?
No, he reintegrated last episode with Baaabe. But I think we're gonna get more information on this, but my assumption is that reintegration is a process, right? So he's still gonna be switched over, but it's gonna start to blend and then blend more and then blend more, and then it's all together. And so I think that he's still having flashes in between, and the flash came there because it reminded him of something. Okay. Is what I think.
Yeah, I guess we'll see. But anyway, I do think it's interesting because they would get 4 yeses from them even if they did ask. But yeah, I guess they did tell them they were going to have to do some type of retreat, and they did it. They went with it.
Then they turn around and Dylan says, "What the fuck is that?" And I want to take a victory lap right now. I want to take a goddamn victory lap because the chat told me I was wrong. Chanel told me I was wrong.
I don't remember telling you.
Chat told me I was silly. I said on episode 1, when Mark ran to the wellness center, right? When he first came down the hallway, he ran to the wellness center, and then the camera panned to the side, and there was a person standing behind him. And I said, that's a clone of Mark or something of Mark. And everybody said, oh, that's not a clone of Mark. That's the new security person. That's the new Grainer.
Nobody said that. Nobody said all this. People said, maybe, Brandon, you could be right, and maybe that's the new Grainer. They said a lot of things.
And then we get to this episode, and Dylan says, look over yonder. What is that? And it's a goddamn twin, is what they call it, right?
It's Bizarro. It's Bizarro Mark, basically.
Bizarro Mark,
They don't look correct. They look like them, but they don't look right.
They look like animatronics.
Yes.
Almost, right?
Honestly, I should have never watched Five Nights at Freddy's because that shit kind of fucked me up. And this is what it's reminding me of. It's giving Five Nights at Freddy's with the music and with the animatrons.
You know what I think they are? 3D printed versions of them.
Could be. I mean, I'd be surprised if they have anything in their brains. Like, I think they just are things. Like, I think they just, because all they did was point.
Yeah, they were in their suits in the cold ass doors in their work clothes.
Yes, I don't think those are humans, but whatever they are, we definitely have more questions about this.
So Milchek brought out the twins to guide them through this forest, and so they start following it.
And Irving is like, "What the fuck? I'm not following that." And they're like, "No, wait." He says, "What does he call him?"
Oh no, I have it. He called him a mountebank. A mountebank.
Mountebank. He goes, I don't trust the goddamn word he says. Irving, okay, so first of all, Irving clocked in this.
Yeah, he was ready to go.
Irving clocked in on this shit. Irving was like, I'm not doing none of this shit. All of this is bullshit. They're lying. I don't fuck with this. And so immediately he's like, I'm not following them. And they're like, well, technically we kind of need to because we don't have anywhere else to go. So the twins did not actually lead them to their death. They actually were like putting in the right direction, but they were creepy as fuck. And Irving was the only one registering how deeply creepy this was. Everyone else is like, I guess we're gonna do it. Irving's like, what are we doing?
Said, I I wouldn't believe a word out of that Mountebank's mouth. Mountebank's mouth. And then he said, not even televisually.
Irving kills.
Not
Irving
even televisually.
He's right.
Oh man. We got some chats. DJ Radio R says, you was right. Thank you. I like hearing that sometimes. I really do. Fred Vasquez
oh my God,
says,
you are told you're right.
He's been connecting with his innie mark, so yeah, it's a process.
Okay, thanks, Fred Vasquez. Welcome to the chat.
He also said Ben Stiller was describing the opening scene and mentioned how someone behind Mark looks like him. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh, I didn't see that. Cool. And then Fisher Protocol said they need to reprint Dylan's because that was ass. Dylan's they look nothing like him.
Dylan's was Play-Doh.
They couldn't get the black skin.
They were 3D printed. No, it was something about his dimensions because the skin tone was okay. It was like he just didn't look right. He was happy. That was an unbaked baby.
It was like the when they used to have this thing called Connect for Xbox 360, which is like a little video thing to track you. And the first time it came out, it couldn't track black people. It just couldn't track us at all. And
they didn't test us.
They didn't test us. And so they had to do a bunch of fixes to get it to test black people when it came out. So
that's a great reference. That's exactly what it was.
No intro credits. No intro credits today. So we jump right into them following the clone Mark. And they all look very confused, which, yeah.
Fair.
What I am fascinated by is how much of this does Helena know about? Because it seems to me, we'll get to it later in this episode, like, I don't want to say she was coming to their side, but it seemed to me like she was genuinely, like, starting to understand the innies a little bit. And so I'm very curious to, like, how much of what goes on in the Severance floor was she aware of or not aware of? Because I don't think, we'll get to it when we get to story time with Mr. Milchek, but I don't think Mr. Milchek was expecting her to start bust out laughing and laugh at that passage. Like, I do not think Milchek was expecting that.
I don't know. I think what you're saying makes a lot of sense, and I'm with it. In the moment, though, the way I was feeling about it was she's playing her role, because in my mind, she's a mastermind behind all this sick shit. Because think about it. Who the fuck grows up in that weird ass household with that weird ass father and weird ass grandfather and then decides to sever themselves and then tells their innie that they're not a person? Like, this is not a healthy individual. So I feel like I wouldn't be surprised if she's been on top of all of the torture and all the stuff that's happening this whole time. And it's just like, all right, I can deal with it. Because, like, think about it. You could deal with it if you know, like, at the end of the day, they're always going to pull you out if they need to. You're never going to actually die or feel harm, or what, they're never going to take you to the break room, right? Like, there's all these things that are never going to happen to you. So you're kind of like, I'm fine. So I'll let them torture them and I'll just go along with it. And then I thought later, when she was being smart ass, that she was trying to play her role. So I feel like she studied game film and thought she was just going to be able to, like, play this sardonic Helly. And it's interesting because at the very end, like, on, like, the behind the scenes, Adam Scott was like, oh, Brittany Laura she did such a great job. Like, nobody could tell it wasn't Helly. I was like, nigga, we it's not because of her acting. We all just knew. Yeah, he was like, she did a good job. Like, if you go back and look, there's the signs. And I'm like, we knew. I don't know if we knew because, like, one person put the seed in our heads and that was it. But, like, and so it's definitely not a function of her acting, because her acting did have me doubting at times. I'm just saying that, like, it was like we knew from we're too tapped into this story kind of.
It was the first episode, we went through a bunch of the things we talked about on the show, a bunch of the things that they showed in that first episode. The biggest one was her not knowing how to turn on a computer, which I was like, there's no reason she wouldn't know that. But even larger than that, there was no narrative reason that like, I always thought this entire time, this show has to convince me why Helena would ever send Helly back down there. Like, why that would ever happen. Why she would ever send her back down there. And so that's what made me believe it from the very beginning that it wasn't her. Because I was like, why would Helena, who's in charge, ever let Helly go back down there after the shit that she pulled, right? And this, it's funny, this episode, they actually give us a legitimate reason why Helly R would ever show back up, right? Because she was forced to show back up, which we'll get to. But I thought that was interesting. So I agree with you. I didn't know he said that. So that's cool. I need to start watching those things.
I mean, they have no idea how tapped in the fuck we are to this show. Like we are one shit. Like we are like looking at stuff in the corner where I think that we just live in a world where people are so excited about something so different and new, and you want to see the stuff happening. So if this episode was a reveal for you, that's amazing. What an amazing experience to not have seen this coming and then to be like, oh my God, we all discovered that together. Because if you didn't see that coming and you thought Irv was crazy, then like you really had a moment. But for everybody else, we were rooting for Irv to get his moment. We were all like, Team Irv, let's fucking go. Justice for Irv. Somebody's going to have to listen to him eventually. And he was listened to. At the end of the day, he got listened to. He was heard.
And so they do the thing after the show, like House of the Dragon type thing where they interview the people.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. I should watch that. Okay.
Yeah, because you always skip like you're gonna get some big spoiler for the next episode when all they do is show 2 clips and a cow and be like, yeah, this is what's happening next.
Well, I'm gonna start
but
watching
actually, this episode they didn't give. Maybe I'm tripping. Maybe I missed it, but I didn't see the sneak peek for next week. So maybe some crazy shit's gonna happen because they didn't even give us like a next week episode. But yeah, so anyway, they're in the forest where I completely lost track of where.
No, we're good. And so then we see Helly's twin, and she's pointing into a cave. And so they walk into the cave, and there's a light there.
A scissor cave, by the way.
The scissor cave with an old ass book under a light that had the Roman numeral 4 on it.
Scissor cave? What's happening? I was so confused. I was like, what are we? This has to have some kind of weird meaning. I'm like, it can't be just like a random lesbian sex reference. Like, this has to be something.
Helly picks up the book and it says, for Dieter. And then they basically come to the conclusion that, oh shit, Kier had a twin named Dieter.
Hold on, wait. I have to ask a question in general. What the fuck is all this shit Kier wrote?
Oh, we'll get to that. I got some clips of that. I got some good clips of this shit.
It, in general, is this like Scientology? It's like a nigga was just writing some shit and they were like, this is
it's like it's supposed to be like any religious figure who writes stuff and people worship it.
Right, but are they creating this shit now, or did he really write that on his deathbed?
Oh, do you think he actually wrote that? That's an interesting question. I never considered that. The kid actually wasn't writing this bullshit. They were just making it up. I think they're too deep into the cult for him not to have written this shit.
Yeah, you're right. But at this point, it's like I think that Helena was the only one who's like, come on, be fucking for real. Because the innies will go for anything. The innies will go for anything. But Audi would be like, what the fuck are we even serious? Because I think book 4 was not canon, is what I'm trying to say. Oh wow. Fisher Protocol. Wow. I guess it is Saturday night.
The Scissor Falls have sugar walls. Okay, Dusty Rhodes.
We actually had a sexual scene this episode. This is a first. Because I've been saying how there's this Netflix show, I swear to God, I can never even remember what it was called, what it was. I would have to see it again. But I remember starting a new Netflix show, and I kid you not, in the first 5 minutes, there were 3 different sex scenes. It was just sex scene, new couple, sex scene, new couple. And I was like, what the fuck is going on? So even though I love sex scenes, I don't love them for no reason. I don't love them gratuitously. So I've been grateful that we didn't have one, but this one was like weird too to me still. I'm like, I still don't need sex in this show at all. It's like how when industry finally went low sex scenes, mostly corporate intrigue, I was like, this is the ratio I need.
So they pick up this book, and Irv is reading excerpts from the book while they're all walking back, because the book's got a map to like Woe's Hollow, so they figure that's where they're supposed to go, and so they start following the map back to Woe's Hollow, and they end the hike saying Kier said, I had no choice to listen as he spilled his lineage upon the soil.
Yeah.
He spilled his lineage.
Yeah. Yeah. I was like, what are we doing?
Then they stop and see Dylan's twin, who was really like dollar store Dylan. And Mark and Helly walk ahead. And Mark asks if she's okay. Helly's like, yeah, I just wish I knew where we were going. And then they show Irv side-eyeing that whole conversation. Like, look at them.
But again, by the way, because like Helen knew where the fuck they were going.
Yeah,
This is can't like this yeah, like this is land she owns. You know what I'm saying? So I think that that's what is frustrating when you do have suspicion about her, because you're like, every time she acts something, you're like, I don't think Helly would say that. Helly wouldn't be like, where are we going? Helly would be like, why the fuck are we out here? It's little things.
Exactly. Yeah. And so they get up there and Irv catches up to Mark when Helly falls back with Dylan. And Irv says, I don't trust her, dog. I think she's lying about what her Audi saw. And Mark's like, God damn it, you talking about this shit again? Like, we already talked about this. He was like, Mark, a night gardener. I know you ain't that smart, bro, but it ain't no such thing as no goddamn night gardener. Like, she lying. Keep your eye on her.
No, he's not even saying that. He's saying, I know that pussy tight, but it's not enough for you to lose oxygen to your brain. Okay.
That's what she said. That's what he said, basically.
That's what he said.
I thought you were gonna do the line from the song from What These Bitches Want from DMX. Did he say that? Didn't he say that in that song?
I'm not able to recall those lyrics on demand.
I'm pretty sure he said that. I'm pretty sure he said that.
Do you want to hear my DMX?
Oh, you have a DMX?
I could do what these bitches want from a nigga. Somebody let me know. That's pretty good.
That was Cisco. He didn't sound like that.
That was not, whatever. It was decent.
And
DMX.
even though that pussy's tight, I ain't going to jeopardize my life. That's what he said. I thought you were going to get that line.
Oh, yeah, no. But I mean, my thing is this. Like, it is clear. Mark is doing the most. Like, Mark is actually getting on my fucking nerves, because I get that you trust her, but like, y'all did go outside and like anything could have happened. So he did, like, Irving asked a genuine question where I would be like, look, babe, like, I believe you, but honestly though, like, what shirt did the night gardener have on? Like, what was that nigga's name? Because like, what company did he work for? Like, did he have a flashlight? Like, Irving is asking very legitimate questions, and that's what was irritating me this whole episode, because everyone's all like, justice for, like, trying to look out for Helly, but I'm like, the bitch is being suspicious. Oh, thank you so much, AJ. Welcome to the chat.
Thank you, AJ.
AJ came in just in time for my DMX impression. That would make me hit subscribe if I heard a flawless DMX.
AJ was definitely
not laughing at that. Flawless DMX rendition. I would be like, oh, I have to.
By the way, does anybody sing harder than? It's like 3 people who sing harder than Cisco, right? They're like trying real harder. It's Cisco, Keith Sweat, and LV. You know LV from Gangsta's Paradise? The guy sings the hook, the Gangsta's Paradise. He be singing hard.
I don't have a list, but I'm gonna start compiling a list of who sings hardest, because I do love when some hold on, wait. At the end of there's a song. It's in my stories. I'm gonna have to find it. There's a West Coast song where at the end of the Dr. Dre song where they're singing ding ding dong.
Yeah.
Ding, like they're going hard on them.
Yeah,
they're going
keep
hard
your heads
on
ringing.
ding ding dong.
Yeah.
They're going hard on ding ding dong. Like, she was really giving it all.
If you want to get on down, that song. Yeah, keep your heads ringing. Yeah, they be singing hard. They be singing hard.
I thought they just sang hard before. These singers now are so soft. You know what I'm saying?
We don't got R&B no more.
Yeah, they're singing from the back of the booth. They're not even up close to the mic. Like, get up in there and give me some vibrato.
Yeah, give me some Lenny Williams. Mm-hmm. Tell me how much you love me. And say it over and over and over and over and over again. Make the song 7 minutes long.
Yes.
So then we finally get to Woes Hollow. Finally get there. And the twins are standing on top of the waterfall. Milchek shows up fresh as fuck. He got on a sweet ass white sweater, a white mink. He looked like Cameron.
He looked like a whole pimp.
He looked like Cameron. That's something Cameron would have worn.
Again, how old is Miss Huang? What the fuck is going on?
She had on the same outfit, by the way.
It just keeps hitting me like this is actually a child. Who is sending her here?
Look at his outfit. Look at his face. He be making the best faces.
Milchek might be from Detroit. Yeah, like this is the thing. You almost could. This is a great metaphor for real life, because if you wanted to, you could just believe the lies. You could believe that Milchek is instituting no no torture, and they listened, and Lumen is great. Like that's how the government is right now. You could be like, everything will be fine. Or you could tap into that third sense and be like, fuck no, we're in trouble. And I love that the innies are doing that.
To be fair, if Irv didn't go off this episode, they probably would have had a good ass trip. They had a nice little trail walk.
The tents were that was glamping as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, they had glamping tents.
They had the whole damn heat. I want a heat lamp like that shit in my house. That you were not cold with that heat lamp, bro.
We'll get to it later. They had a marshmallow experience. Milchek said they brought luxury meats, quote, luxury meats. They had a nice walk in the trail. Like, this would have been a nice little 2-day getaway if Irv didn't go ape shit.
Luxury meats you're right. That is crazy. Luxury meats, scissor cave, sugar walls, and spilt. What did he? Oh my god! What did they call the masturbation? Spilt lineage. Wow.
So let's listen to Milchek welcome them to Was Hollow.
Kier's twin was always with him. That's why we provided the very same for each of you.
Fuck you all, I was right. Mr. Milchek.
This is the tallest waterfall on the planet. You have followed the path of Kier and Dieter and reached Was Hollow. You stand upon sacred earth.
We're starving, Mr. Milchek.
Are you? I thought the waterfall's grandeur would satiate you. I'm teasing, of course. Lumen will always protect and provide. Right this way.
By the way, I forgot to say, before they got here, they come across a dead seal that's like mummified. Like the seal is fucked up. And they just ignored it. They never said like why it's here or how it got here. And like they never came back to it in the episode. But Irv was like, we should eat this shit. And I was like, oh, Irv is on one this episode. He is locked in, dog. Irv is locked in and ready to go in this episode. So after Milchek welcomes them to Was Hollow, they walk back to the campgrounds and we see some sweet ass tents, like these big ass blue tents. By the way, this show does a lot with blue and red. I saw some people talking about that. I didn't really look into it, but I have noticed it. That like there's a lot of blue and there's a lot of red and they kind of a dichotomy going on in the show. But they get back, they got these sweet ass blue tents, and he tells them that we got marshmallows. He basically said we got marshmallows, we have a recital, and I have copious luxury meats. Copious luxury meats. So it was kind of like
what the fuck was a recital? I thought there was going to be dancers and a whole like ritual. Maybe they fucked it up.
No, the recital was story time with Mr. Milchek.
Oh, I will say like, yeah, I mean, okay, Irv. The one comment I had, sorry, I was making matcha, is that Irving is me. Irving is locked the fucking Irving's like what, because Irving is 100% like I'm not falling for this shit, and I really do appreciate that, because when he was like we should eat the seal, what he's really saying is why are we trusting them to not kill us? Like what are you like? There really is an implicit trust right now. They're like, oh, we'll get back, but like you literally are in the middle of nowhere. You woke up at work in the middle of nowhere in a place where you already put a lot of trust into them to wake up in the right place. So I think honestly, like I just justice for Irv. Irv was his senses was clicking the whole damn episode.
Oh, you know what else he said? He said, we also have a nice outhouse with 4-ply washroom tissue.
And I was just like, I was trying to think of like, is that nice?
I mean, I don't buy anything less than 2-ply. Do they even have 4-ply? Is that real?
Yeah. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. But let me tell you something about Milchek. Milchek will say any motherfucking thing to them, because that motherfucker looked at them dead in the eyes and said, "That's the biggest waterfall in the world." He would tell them anything. He's like, that waterfall is like that's bigger than any mountain there's ever exists, and to them it is. But it's like he will lie to them for no reason just because he can.
Yeah, I don't know if 4-ply toilet paper actually exists.
He will say whatever the fuck he wants to. That's what I'm saying. He's
Oh,
so
he did
dangerous.
tell them. If you in the video and the clip we played, he did say, "This is the world's largest waterfall."
Yeah,
the
like he'll
world's
say whatever
largest
the fuck he
waterfall.
wants to say, and to them it is, and that's what's so dangerous about Milchek, because you realize now that like because I think I wanted him to be like kind of not like kind of earnest. I think that Fisher Protocol says I think this outside place is in the building or something. That would be amazing.
Yeah, a lot of people in the chat are not thinking this was real. Angel Castro said this place has to be a simulation. There's no way Miss Wong has an 11-year-old Audi in the real world letting her do this for 2 days. Yeah, the Miss Wong thing, man. Sorry. We're going to have to figure that one out.
And again, Angel Castro, if I haven't said hi, welcome to the chat. Let's be clear. Everything's on limits for Miss Wong because that baby should not be in that office no matter what. What are we talking about? We're like, well, she can't go to work, but she can't go to the wilderness. Like, what do you mean? Where are her parents? Her parents are allowing her to clock in from 8 to 5 every day somewhere. They don't give a fuck if they don't care where she is. They want her gone. That's
even
what
here
to pick up on.
After he talks about the 4-ply washroom tissue, he says we also have torches that provide equal parts heat and light. And he gives them the torch. And it's the first time the innies have ever seen fire, right? So they're like fascinated by the fire. And Miss Wong says, pretty cool, right? Which is something the kid would say. So sometimes she acts like an adult, like it's an adult brain in the kid's body. And the other time she acts like a kid when she's playing the games at her desk and stuff like that.
Right, you're right. But even then, she's also trolling them because she's also like pretty cool, right? Like, I know what the fuck fire is, but your dumb ass just seen it for the first time. So So I'm telling you right now, because she's Asian is the only reason I don't assume she's an Egan. But she could also be Helly's daughter. Like, who the fuck knows who this child is? But all I know is her parents don't give a single motherfuck. That's the one thing I know of this whole show.
Or she got parents.
Right. Who knows?
Irv says,
it might be the best reveal we get.
Lovely. Very sarcastically. Very sarcastically. So later that night, Helly comes into Irv's tent. Irv asks Helly. She brings him a snow seal. And she was like, in case you're hungry. And Irv's like, I don't know why I said it. I should have eaten that thing. I was tripping. But, you're just the person I was looking for. I was just talking about you to Mark. I was just talking about you. Listen. Look, Helly, listen. It's just me and you. It's just me and you. I know you was kind of ashamed. You can tell me what really happened up there. Because, that story you told was bullshit, right? Like, it was bullshit. So what really happened? And Helly was basically like, I told you what happened. What you mean? What you mean I told you? And then they kind of look at each other, and then Helly looks at him like, oh, all right, then. And then walks out. And I was like, okay, something happening here.
And that's kind of how if I had any doubts, that's when I was like, no, this is not Helly. Because Helly's trying to treat him like he's dumb. And if I was Irving, I would have swung on her. So she's lucky she got that at the end, because I would have been so frustrated by being gaslit that I would have fought her. Because I would have been like, stop fucking playing with me. DJ R, I heard an interesting theory about Mark and Helena's love scene. I'll wait for us to get there. Okay, can't wait.
I have this. She probably got the same theory I got.
You gotta have
Chanel,
all the theory.
I only have this theory because Chanel made me watch the intro, and I actually paid attention and took notes on the intro. Or else I wouldn't have had this theory. And so then Helly continues. Oh, sorry, I skipped the part. So then the Helly continues the joke. Hold up.
So basically, they're in the scene.
I forgot. No, I skipped the part. Then we cut to story time with Mr. Milchek. I got confused in my own notes. Yes. I jumped a little bit ahead because I have this scene because Milchek was on one right here. Like this whole scene, actually, I cut it off because I thought it was over. And then I realized there was more goodness to the scene, so I got two parts of the scene. So here's the first part of story time with Mr. Milchek.
Dieter lay unwashed in his bedroll.
Listen to this story. I don't know if I listened to this 4 times so I could get it recorded right. This is insane. Like whoever wrote this is like, what is happening here? So just listen to what he reads.
Though the Hollow's pool was primed for bathing. We ate of the hare we'd caught and told each other rhyming jokes till our gullets ached.
Bruh. First of all, oh, they mean hair like rabbits. Okay. It just hit me. They mean hair like rabbits because this shit is so weird. They could have been eating human hair, right? One. Two, the gullets is like your throat. I'm just confused. Like, what are they talking about? It's so weird.
But at last, the thought tickling my mouth emerged. We must
That was
return
what that means. The thought tickling my mouth is crazy. This is the most sexual episode ever.
to Father, I said. But I promised to look after you in the ether mill. When at last a sound came from him.
Well, we know the Egans are sexual because of the waffle party, where they dress up in lingerie and do that dance, and then you go fuck someone in Kier's bed. Like,
I forgot about that. I definitely forgot.
It was a bewailing whimper. He believed, I suppose, that we be woodland poppers forever.
Woodland poppers? What is that?
They were literally, so they're rich kids. And he was like, bruh, I don't want to be rich no more. Let's go live in the woods and be Peter Pan. So basically, like, we're poor people in the woods.
So it's the equivalent of backpacking.
Yes, but he's like, but it's beyond that. He's like, let's just live in these woods. Let's just never go back. It's literally going from like Secession to Revenant.
Okay.
I was looking at him when his eye came out.
Without the bestiality.
It popped from the socket, driven by a sudden torrent of pus from his skull. And he reached up to grab.
Yeah, did you hear that? Listen to this.
And he reached up to grasp at his hair, which was suddenly moss that tore easily from his bleeding scalp.
The descriptive language in this book is A1. Like, this is very descriptive. Like, when you read books, sometimes a boring book is because it's just words, right? You can't really visualize it. This is descriptive language. You can visualize what he's saying very easily reading this book.
Good heavens.
Good heavens.
Even Irving is like, what the fuck? Irving is like, I done read all the books. I done read the 1 through 3. I done read the prequel. I ain't never heard Egan on no shit like this.
It was like, oh my goodness.
And as the pus from his eye thickened into sap, I turned from my gargling brother and walked to the pool of the hollow.
By the way, what? Where are you going? What do you mean your brother's fucking melting? He's turning into sap, and you're like, you know what? I need a break. I need air.
The waterfall would drown out my brother's cries.
It's actually really smart.
And it...
I can't stand Dylan.
That's really, that's actually a good idea, dog. Like, if you do go by the waterfall, you won't hear that shit.
That's probably how he watches his kids.
It was here that I first encountered the temper woe. A gaunt bride, half the height of a natural woman.
Then Milchak literally flips the book around to show him an illustration of what woe looks like.
She spoke to me directly from her eyes and said, "This is your doing. You suffered his wantonness. Now he's no one's brother. Only Chaos's whore."
So the forest took his brother's life?
Because he fucked it. It's crazy how you say there's no bestiality when there is definitely bestiality. That was his seal.
What's it called when you fuck nature? Like, if you fuck a hole, is there a name for it?
Agoraphilia.
You making that shit up?
If that's real, I want money.
I
Hold
feel
on, let
like
me
you're
look.
making that shit up.
If that's correct, I want money in the chat. I want you to send me $100 right now if agoraphilia is the right word. Oh, I'm
It's like
2
Tech
hours
Night.
off. I'm the love of public life, crowds, and activity is agoraphilia. Fuck, I was so close.
That wasn't really
Nate
close.
Love.
Wasn't really that close.
The end.
The end. And here comes Helly. And this is Milchek's face, by the way, on the screen when Helly was laughing at him. I do not think he was expecting that. Look at that man's face. That does not look like the man of somebody who was expecting her to basically laugh at his recital.
Right. Okay. Sorry. It's biophilia. Fuck. I was close.
Biophilia. Oh, okay. They do have a name for
Yeah.
it. Okay.
But yeah, okay, so that's what I'm saying. So here's where I think she's actually being herself, because the truth is that Helena Egan is an asshole. She's a fucking bitch. Okay, let's be very clear. So she's like, yeah, I know Kira Egan and all this shit, but I don't believe in all of this nonsense like y'all do. I believe, like, she's in it for the money for sure. She's in it for like the whatever they put in her head as a kid. But she's like, y'all, this is some bullshit. Like, because it does become ridiculously like metaphorical, and like I don't even know if the twin existed, let alone he melts and then he sees the first shrew. But she's like, get the fuck up out of here. And so she has enough money to laugh in Milchek's face. But Milchek cannot respond to her the way he wants to, so he has to punish the whole team for her. And that's when I was like, that's the real her.
Perhaps in the morning we'll have time for the next chapter. Kia and the thieving nanny.
First of
I
all,
wanna read that.
quick question.
Kia and the
Quick
thieving
question.
nanny.
Speaking of the feedback in the beginning, how you never improv with me, what do you think the thieving nanny? What do we think happens in Kira the thieving nanny?
I think the nanny was in there stealing from the parents, and Kier saved him. This is how he became Kier, right? This is how he became the what did he call himself? Each of these is by the tempo, right? So the first one was woe, and there's four tempers. So the second one got to be another tempers. Malice,
whatever the pride one is, maybe.
Frolic, woe, malice, and there's one more.
Maybe frolic. Yeah, maybe he frolicked with her. I think either yeah, that's so crazy because I have written down I can't keep putting this Egan shit in my head, so I won't be double checking. But I'm like, it's either two options. Either realistically, he probably found her thieving and cut her hands off. Like that's Kier gives, I dropped her in a vat in the factory and she suffered and now praise Kier. Or maybe the nanny was thieving, but she used to wear really cute cheetah print outfits and he ended up marrying her.
Did they have cheetah print in 1866?
I don't know. I'm just thinking like I just imagine it's Fran Drescher.
I wonder what the lingerie of 1866 was.
It's probably
Kier PE. Was it even called Kier PE then?
What state is PE? What do we think the name of this? I have so many questions. It's a Pennsylvania. Like, what are we doing? Okay. Anyway, so I don't know. I would love to know in the chat if you're watching this now or later, like what the fuck you think Kier and the thieving nanny was. Like it just, and at some point I think it gets pornographic. I just have to believe that.
Oh, he put it down, is what you're trying to say. That's what
Kier's like, my brother got some in the forest. I didn't get none. I'm getting some in this next chapter.
Whoa. Creepy.
Did his brother really die that way, Mr. Milchek?
The handbook enriches our work with tales of the founder's life. Every word is truth.
There's Helena just laughing at him.
But by the way, I do think this is how even Miss Huang would come up. You have to be a convert to be in this situation. That's what I'm realizing. You do not work on the severed floor unsevered without believing in Kier. So that's how we are where we are. Now that the more I think about it, Milchick's not doing this for a check. He believes, because there's no way he's doing all this crazy shit and he doesn't have like a deep affirming belief. So it's like we thought he was different than Kovelbig, but maybe he's obsessed in his own way.
So he's a black Scientologist.
Basically, and like maybe Miss Wong's parents are Sea Org, and they're like they're sending their kid on to service, and they're really proud of her because here they are, they're able to like send a 12-year-old to serve, right? Like I think that's the only thing that makes sense to me about why these people would do it, because like I've said in previous episodes, I pray that like Milchick's a millionaire from this, but they might be paying Milchick $65,000, and he's just a believer.
So no wonder he be wearing them Isaac Hayes, them shaft jackets.
Correct.
Isaac Hayes. Isaac Hayes was a black Scientologist. That's the inspiration. Oh, I see what's happening here. I see the vision, Ben. I see the vision.
Everything comes back to Scientology.
Helly.
That's a rich woman mocking laugh. That's a I could buy you. You so stupid.
What?
Helly R.
You guys, he melted, right? He turned into the forest because he masturbated. I mean, seriously, that's actually the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Right?
I feel like this was the first time she heard this. And she probably thought, this the bullshit we be telling y'all. She's stupid as fuck.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
He jerked off in front of his brother, and he got punished for it.
Why can't you say that?
He just said it.
Okay, here's part 2.
And old Mark never would have laughed like this. His nose is wide open over her because old Mark would have been like, Ellie, have some decorum.
You know we often laugh at what we don't understand.
Milchick
The
was
team
so
I thought I
serious.
knew would have processed more thoughtfully.
He's pissed.
Miss Wong. The marshmallows, please.
He's so fucking petty.
And dramatic.
Throw them in the fire.
Mr. Milchick, come on.
Now, Miss Wong.
Now.
Why?
Dylan was
This
mad.
is when Dylan wait. Yeah, you killed a perk? Nah, hell nah.
Marshmallows.
Now
are
I care.
players, Dylan.
Marshmallows for team
They
players.
don't just
Dylan.
hand them out.
Actually, they do. They literally can. You can't just hand them out. I'm so tired of Milchick.
Good night.
And this, by the way, this is why Helly's cruel as fuck, because these are human beings who've never had marshmallows.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Like she ruined marshmallows for them. Like that's cruel.
No, Ben Cordes, it's not a video. That was just a picture for the sound, because for YouTube purpose. I only play one video show so we don't get booted off. You know what that was, Chanel? I used this joke before, but it applies again. I'm gonna use it every time it applies. That was the soup Nazi. That's what he. That was soup Nazi.
Ooh,
You wanna laugh at my recital? No marshmallows for you.
Milchick would have ate in that role. Milchick, I want him to play. I want him to have a Sterling K. Brown option where he plays all kinds of different characters. But I could see him continuing to be the super strict guy who like doesn't take any bullshit. I see that role for him.
Soup Nazi, all-time great episode of television. All-time great. Oh,
the chat's been going off. I'm gonna catch up. I have not been looking at this.
Okay, while you catch up, Helly continues to joke about it, and Irv gets pissed. And Irv says, it's not funny. And stop making goo-goo eyes at her, Mark. And this was interesting because he was not telling Mark to stop making goo eyes because he likes Helly. He was telling Mark to stop making goo eyes at this imposter. That's not Helly. Like, stop making goo eyes at her. That's not her. Which I thought was really cool when I watched it on the second watch. You could tell that's what he meant. And he says, just tell us, Helly. Tell us about him. The night gardener. And it was like, God damn it, you still, like, let it go. And then Irv was like, so, Helly, did he have a flashlight? What was he wearing? What color is his shirt? Did he have a vest on? What did it look like? And I was like, and he says, Mark, you're using your pupils to make love to her while your Audi's wife rots away. I was like, God damn, that was harsh.
I mean,
that ain't his wife.
somebody had to say it.
That ain't his wife.
Hold on. But how did the season start?
He was trying to do his buddy a solid.
That man woke up and ran and tried to find this woman, and all of a sudden, he not even thinking about her. They almost got taken by the goat herd last week, and now he not even think about that. He is off. He is distracted.
He was trying to do his man a solid, but he not about to let that go. He not about to let her go to find someone he ain't never gonna get with. Nah, he about to lose his virginity. This is an opportunity he can't pass up. Stelvig can't pass it up. So then Dylan said, fuck you, Irv. I was like, oh, Dylan turned on you. Okay. And Irv was like, oh, it's 3 against 1 down. And Helly said, calm down. He just mad because he can't see his boyfriend again. His boyfriend dead and ain't coming back, and he mad. I was like, damn, that was cruel as hell. And Irv was like, oh, all right then. Fuck y'all. I'm out of here. He walks off into the forest. So after story time with Mr. Milchek, Mark comes to Helly's tent. And he says it was probably a carrot. Because earlier Helly had said, I wonder what kind of vegetable his dick was. What kind of vegetable his dick was. And she says, yeah, or some other root vegetable. And he comes in and she says she apologizes. It was kind of mean what she said to Irving. And Mark was like, no, he deserved that shit. And Mark was like, I can make goo eyes at anybody I want to. Now. And he asks her if she's okay. And she says she's sorry if she's distracting you from finding your wife. And he goes, no, that's it. That ain't my problem. That's his wife. That's not me. We good. I'm not with her no more. We good. And then they do that thing where they look awkward at each other and smile. But this time, Mark leans in for the kiss. Last time it was Helly R who initiated it. This time it was Mark. And then they start kissing. And then they start fucking. And it's like, technically, this is sexual assault. Like, technically, it's sexual assault, right? Isn't that technically right? Like if I had sex, if my girlfriend or wife was a twin and her sister pretended to be my wife and I had sex with her, that's not consent, right?
Okay. This is very interesting because you're probably right. I do think this is technically assault. It's definitely deception, which is like it's kind of like how you can be charged for taking the condom off when you said you had one on. So it's like it's in that realm for sure. But yeah, he's definitely getting played, and I think that Irving might have been harsh, but like there's no better demonstration of it than like he's so distracted that he's having sex on a work trip. Like Mark is off his rocker in terms of this. And I do appreciate like this is their only time to have romance because they are innies. But you could definitely tell that like she's manipulating him. And I hate that for him. I don't know. I guess I was just curious about like what the significance of even giving them this sex scene was. And so I'm curious about people's theories around this. And also there's also the thought around like reintegration. So I thought that while he was having sex with her is when he reintegrated because he had that flash. But I think what you're saying makes sense. Like he's already been reintegrated. But I was definitely like, what a moment to like wake up and be like, wait a minute, like, hold on. But you're actually I just realized he couldn't have reintegrated because he physically has to have been being reintegrated at the moment. So that's not.
Yeah, I think it's a process and it just kicks in every now and then, and it kicked in that moment because something triggered it. So my theory, and
Well,
I
I
think
mean,
this
because
is
like the other times he's had sex has been with Gemma and one time with Alexa. So yeah.
with Alexa. Yeah, I think that, and I think this is DJ Rated R's, and she can tell me if I'm wrong. Theory as well. In the intro, they got that little Kier baby walking around Mark's room. What if Helena gets pregnant? Because where are I wrote in big caps, where are the condoms, Chanel? Where are the
They should have
condoms?
Care condoms.
If this was Insecure, we have think pieces about where the condoms at. Why they fucking in the glam tent with no condoms?
Insecure said they always had condoms. You just assume they put them on.
Yeah, okay. I'm not assuming they put them on here.
But you know how like you get whenever they do something crazy to you, you get a card on your windshield. What card do you get when you get pregnant?
This happened in the Lexington letters. And the Lexington letters, they said that like one of the severed employees just showed up pregnant. Like, and it was like a lawsuit or something that she wanted to find out like how she actually got pregnant. And the idea was that these innies, they're like horny teenagers, so they don't know no better. So they just was running around the office fucking, and they got pregnant, right? They weren't alluding to it that it was like foul play, but that just something happened down there, and they don't know how.
Have sex ed. Think about it. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. So you think that she did this on purpose to get pregnant?
No, I think that because we'll get to it. After they fucked, she said that she don't really like who she was on the outside.
I think that was manipulation. Because he says, "Who are you?" and she doesn't say it. I think you are really underestimating how evil this bitch is.
No, I think she's evil, but I also think that I told you when she was watching that video of Mark and Helena kissing, she looked jealous, like she was yearning for that. Like
I'm sure she does not have a lot of dates. I'm sure she does not. I'm sure her Hinge profile is crazy.
In her world, she doesn't have physical intimacy, emotional connection. She was yearning for that. She has a dad who's obviously not emotionally like intelligent, right? And she's in this Egan world and this kid, and so she doesn't have that. And she saw this freedom that Helly had, and she wanted to experience that. And then hanging out with Mark, I think she started to feel the same thing that Helly R was feeling, right? So I absolutely think she was manipulative, but I think that she was starting to feel that way, and this was just a culmination of it. And so,
but I think that
we got a lot
I just feel like she could have. It reminds me a little bit of Dune Prophecy. Like she had her moment where she could have warned him, or like she could have been a bit more like clear with him. And so the fact that she mentioned it, and yeah, for Baaabe. Asia Peacock says, I know it's supposed to take time, reintegration. We agree. Welcome to the chat, Asia. I think that. Oh, and then also was messing up for Petey because he wasn't taking care of himself properly. That's true. So hopefully Mark is actually doing the right thing. Okay, pause my thought. Ben Cordy said, I wonder if his reintegration will happen beyond this episode, and probably will now be Mark, and Gemma, and any Mark, Helena as Helly are conflicted as fuck. Yeah, like I think he's gonna be because we all know that like Audi Mark does not give a fuck about nobody but Gemma. DJ Rated R, yeah, that's his theory that she gets pregnant to be able to bring Kier back. And yes, it's
I wasn't even thinking that far, but yeah, that's interesting.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. There's some, but again, I think that it would track. We don't have any like proof, but it would track that Helena is lonely as fuck because she's weird as shit, and nobody can get close to her. And so I would be surprised if she wasn't needing that. Ben Cordy says, yeah, Helena seems like she was just relationship starved and leaning to the broader agenda, with that being a personal angle she benefited from. Yeah, I think again, I'm just leaving space for her having like. I feel like in that moment, if she really cared about Mark, there'd be a little bit more here. But she brings up that she wasn't happy in a way where like, she wasn't proud of herself. But I don't believe she's not proud of herself. I actually don't see any of that from her Audi self. So I think that she brought that up because she knew that he would have sympathy for her. And then she kind of like changed the subject. So she gave him a little bit to justify like, okay, don't ask any more questions because Earth's questions are valid. And so now it's like Mark's not going to push her on it because she's been a little bit vulnerable. So she really like breadcrumbed him a little bit. So anyway,
that's a good point.
Either way, I love that we got what we needed at the end of this episode anyway. But Mark, I am curious about how, if he is reintegrating, then like how Audi Mark feels in this moment about her, or what's going to happen moving forward if integrated Mark has a chance to like look out for her. I really am curious about like any Helly being back, and how we see if their relationship is different, because Helly hasn't had sex with Mark. You know what I mean?
So are you rooting for Helena? Are you rooting for Helly to overtake Helena to be like the dominant? Or do you want them to be reintegrated, or do you want Helena to exist only?
I don't know. I've never thought about that. What do you think?
Oh, I want Helly R to be the dominant now. Like,
I mean, I think so, but
this is good. Helena Targaryen. That's right. Goddamn right.
I think
Mother of Fetid Moppus.
Fetid Moppus was what I was trying to remember. Yeah, like I think at the end of the day, the Egan machine is way too powerful for Helly R to like be able to exist and dominate. So hopefully they're able to coexist, because I definitely see Helena shutting down Helly before I see her letting herself be overtaken, unless we were to get more data that Helena hates her life. But I really don't think she does.
I think there's evidence to that. In season 1, the last episode, the way they were talking to her at that Lumen function was kind of odd. And the way her daddy came in was like, I wasn't expecting much for you, but I was so proud when you decided to get severed to help the family. It was almost like they were saying like Helena didn't want to do it, but she was trying to get the approval of her father.
And there's only been one woman CEO, so I definitely don't think she was on track for that. But we haven't, I'm just saying, that's why I would need more than that, because we had that moment and we could pull a lot from it. But like, now that we see Helena now we've seen Helena inside outside, she seems to be enjoying the power she has. The way she treated Covell Big is like what I'm paying more attention to than what happened at the party. But again, I'm open. I'm just telling you where I'm at right now.
Too. I'm more leaning towards you. I'm just leaving it open. That's the case. Okay. So Er's walking around the forest, and he trips over some logs. He's called for Mr. Milchak, Mr. Wong. They don't come to him. His torch goes out. He just says, "Fuck it, I'm tired. I'm gonna sit my old ass on this rock." And
I do think that. So people are saying like, okay, there's no way that motherfucker didn't die sleeping like that. And I'm like, okay, if this is a simulation within Egan within Lumen, that would make sense. So I'm open to that too. Like, maybe this is all completely made up, but like it's a protocol that they have in mind.
It also depends how cold it was outside, right? If it was, because it wasn't snowing anymore, it was just snow on the ground. So if it was like
but I do
40,
I literally did think like, damn, I did think like sometimes like there's just been this whole debate at school about this cold weather because of how fucking cold it's been, and I really do believe that like some bodies can deal with cold better, because I couldn't have walked through that forest, let alone fell asleep in it. But I feel like some people could survive it. You know what I mean? So like I was like, maybe he's just maybe his genes are just good for cold. Like I don't fucking know.
So then he fell asleep, and he wakes up and he's in a suit. So clearly at this point he's in a dream state. And this is why they don't, if you remember season 1, they were very strict on falling asleep at work. And I think it's because when you're asleep, the sever ship can't work, right? Your subconscious is combined, right? Your sleep brain can see stuff from your Audi.
Or it's almost like you're neither. Yeah, it's almost like you're neither than both. Yeah.
And so he goes to sleep, and he sees the MDR cubicles. He goes over there, he sits down at his desk. On the other side of his desk is Bert, who kind of smiles at him, and he makes him happy. Then he looks to the left, and he sees Woe typing. And then Woe just basically ignores him.
And Woe just over there like,
she's just doing her refining.
Click clack. Woe was refining the fuck out of that project. Woe looks over like, hey, are you like, can you leave me alone? Like she smiles and keeps going. That was I hate to say that was my favorite moment of the whole episode because Woe was like, I'm so tired of my story being told wrong. Like, all I want to do is get get a finger trap.
And then, yeah, she wanted the what was it? A melon party. She needed that melon party.
Yeah, she's like, I want a melon party. Fuck all this other. She's like, I didn't do anything to Dieter. All I was doing was doing my job.
There ain't no fucking watermelons in Sister Cave. I want the fucking melon party. And then on his screen, it started seeing numbers, and the numbers started spazzing out. And then it said Egan, and then it kind of flashed a picture of Helena, but in like using numbers, and then he woke up. And so I thought this was interesting.
Okay, yeah. I saw facial parts. I didn't realize it was Helena, but whatever happened, I did notice that he woke up like he had a Ben Carson dream, and I don't know. Do you know this story?
Yes.
Okay, I want to tell this story, but I also want to notice that nobody has liked this video that is watching the video. So please like the video and make sure you're subscribed if you're watching. We love you and want other people to see the video too. Okay, so growing up, it's just so apropos because it's Black History Month. But growing up, you know, like there are certain Black history figures and like the first Black person to do XYZ that you're taught about. And then you're like, okay, great. Like this is supposed to be a vision. Ben Carson was one of the first Black surgeons who was like famous. And so I remember reading Ben Carson's book and thinking he was a Black hero. And he writes about how he was in med school. He was fucking around. He wasn't studying the way he needed to. And he had a test. And this motherfucker said, and it's giving Appendix 4 at this point. But this motherfucker said he slept on the book and woke up and took the test, and the answers was in his head. And he was like, he prayed to God.
Oh, I gotta try that.
He prayed to God about like, please, I can't flunk out of med school. He slept on the book and then woke up and was like, I got this. And the rest of the time, he got his shit together and he worked the rest of the time. Knowing what we know now, I am ashamed that I read that book, and I'm ashamed that I thought that was a thing. And so anyway, he has a Ben Carson dream where he wakes up like, I know what the amygdala does. Like he woke up ready to go. This motherfucker was reared to go. He said, he didn't go back to camp. He didn't look for Milchick no more. He went straight for where he knew Helena would be. So I think that I love this scene. I love this whole thing. And I do think one side note is when he did fall asleep and like, I think everyone was like, if this is real, he could die. What did prove to me that this was Helena was that she let them have sex and fall asleep instead of going to look for Irv. And that's not something that team should have done, whether they were mad or not. And so I was just like, if Irv does die from this is going to be a whole thing. So I was very relieved that he didn't die. And I do think it's probably some type of simulation, but I was very worried about like what the blowback from this would be. But I got the best, he woke up on a mission and I was hyped for him.
On the screen, it did say Egan. So on his screen, it said Egan, and then it rearranged into like a facsimile of Helly's face. And so my thought is that Helena Egan is like Paris Hilton, right? She's just a famous heiress. And particularly in this small ass town, everyone knows who Helena Egan is, right? And so when he sleep, his Audi brain is like, oh shit, you work with Helena Egan, right? And so that's kind of what triggered him to like, oh, it's Helena Egan. And then when he woke up, he was like, God damn it, she's a fucking Egan. And he was on a mission when he woke up.
They're also in the chat is also pretty accurate. They're saying like, one, he's military trained. So if anybody can like conserve their body temperature to make it through the sleep. And then secondly, people saw Egan spelled rearranged in the visage of Helena, and so like the letters and the face came together in that screen to get him what he needed. Yeah, so love that. We all saw this.
So then the next morning, and he on a mission, and Mark wakes up and Helly gone. She not in there. Irv comes running back to camp. Dylan comes out and was like, hey dog, Irv ain't come back to bed last night. And Mark was like, Helly's gone and I can't find Mr. Milchick. So they start screaming for Mr. Milchick. Mr. Milchick come running. Where the fuck was he staying? They got a hotel on there?
No, this this is why I actually do think this is like a virtual training room. Like this is definitely something because they've been calling his ass all night, and all of a sudden he popped up ready to go, like spiffy dressed. I'm like, how is this motherfucker still dressed to the nines? It's 8:30 in the morning. So I definitely think this was a setup. But Milchick wakes up, and this is another reason why I might think that like they do this shit. The Ortbo is a thing, and they've done it before over and over. It actually makes the most sense when you think about it. But yeah, so he wakes up and he's like ready to go, and they go, hey, everyone's missing. Like Dylan is like, Irving never came back. Dylan basically is like, I know you was clapping cheeks, so I didn't want to disturb you. And then also you had like that post-sex knockout, so I knew you'd be delirious. So anyway, now I want to tell you, hey, everyone's missing. So they start, and then Helly's missing in a weird way. Helly's not missing in like a went to go look for Irving way. She's missing on her own. So the three of them start, all of a sudden they can hear Irving call. Even though Milchick can hear Irving all fucking night, all of a sudden they can hear Irving because he's back at the waterfall. Okay, so this is the important part for me. So we see Helena staring at the waterfall. What is your interpretation?
I think that I don't know, because I don't want to give this white woman the benefit of the doubt, but I think she was starting to feel guilty about some of the shit that she was doing. And so she was going back there for some clarity or help with her conscience or some shit like that. And I don't know, maybe the waterfall means something to her family, and that's why she was going there for that. But I felt like it was something around that because, go ahead. What did you think?
No, I mean, we're on the same page. But I believe that she was I believe that she was actually happy about her family and was going back to like reminisce on Egan. Like I think she was actually giving herself a moment to like not play this role of like this Helly like sardonic role. I think she was actually taking a moment to reflect on her legacy. I felt like she was smiling and she was comforted. Like she kind of had a moment to like be like to bask in the scissor walls of it all.
Did you think Mark was good at sex? And that was what it was?
I was glad that Adam Scott got a chance to have a sex scene. Because I don't think they've ever given that man a sex scene, and I think there's a reason for it. And I hope that he in real life is a Lothario. But no, I don't. But you know what's okay? So in the after show, the Dan Erickson who created the show talked about how like if the first season was about childhood, the second season was about adolescence, and so we're seeing them have like first time experiences, like the awkwardness of having your first lover. And so I think that it doesn't matter. I think they both this is probably Helly's first time either way, and I think this is definitely Mark's innie's first time. So I think either way it doesn't matter. I think they were just happy to feel these things for each other because like that, think about it, like Dylan's innie has never had an erection probably. Like Dylan's innie does not know what love feels like. There's nothing has ever prompted romantic feelings for him. So it is a very special moment. I just wish it wasn't corrupted because like you said, he's being lied to. But anyway, Helly's
Mark did satisfy Alexa, right? So maybe that's in the part of the brain that don't get erased by the severance. And it just kicked in naturally.
Hey, if you think Alexa was satisfied,
she was. She stayed the night, didn't she? She came back in the t-shirt and everything.
I think she was just new in town. I think she was just new in town, and it wasn't no black man on the hinge in her area.
See, there you go. Trying to ruin her good night with Mark Scout. And anyway, Irv finds Helena at the waterfall, right? And he runs up on her. And he says, listen, I damn near froze to death last night. And you know what I thought while I was out there? What you said to me yesterday was cruel as fuck. And Helly would never say anything cruel. So, who the fuck are you, basically? And she was like, I'm right here. It's me. And he was like, no, it's not. And he was like, you know what? I know you ain't Helly. You're an Audi. And what Audi would have the power to send their innie back to the seventh floor?
Mm-hmm. He said, it's so fact though. He said, it's only a couple motherfuckers who have access like this. You're not, he's like, you don't even work for the president. You know what I mean? Like there's only so many people they're just going to bring down here out of nowhere.
And Helena said, I'm sorry. And then Irv grabbed her ass, snatched her up, walked down to the little lake, to the little pond at the foot of the waterfall, and screamed for Mr. Milchek. Mr. Milchek, Mr. Milchek. Mr. Milchek and Mark here, they start running towards the waterfall. He gets there, he's like, she starts drowning her. It's like, I'm gonna kill this motherfucker. She's an Audi, she's a trader, and at the same time, he's dumping her head into the water and scream like John Turturro was acting his ass off here. He's drowning
He
this
said
shit.
she's an Egan.
She's an Egan.
And you know I love that because you know I hate like at the end of season 1 when like it was like, oh, who's alive? Like they weren't clear. He said everything he needs to say. He said she's an Egan, she's a mole. This bitch is not herself. This is not Helly. And it was like everything was clear. So even if they had shut his shit off right there in that moment, he had given the message that the team needed to hear. And that always is a relief to me because I hate miscommunication in the middle of like a critical moment.
And he said, switch her back. Switch her back right now. And then when he pulled Helena back up, she was like, God damn it, Seth, do that shit. Fuck. And then Irv was like, yeah, Seth. And I was like, yo, he said that with such disdain. Yes.
Because
Seth.
fuck Seth.
Because they don't know his name.
Milchek.
They didn't know he's Seth Milchek, right? Which is funny.
I mean, because remember when Dylan had his little viewing and he was like, who the fuck is Seth? So it really is. It reminds me of teaching because my family's full of teachers and even the teachers call themselves by their last names so that the kids don't hear their first names. Because first of all, it's just for respect. But second of all, kids these days will find you on Facebook. So they're like definitely go out of their way to not say first names. And I thought that was very interesting that they finally know who Seth Milchek is. And also, like, it can help with whatever Mark is going to do with his reintegration. It can help them figure out more about Milchek. So I do think it'd be interesting if the innies start to learn something about Milchek's background and how involved he is in Lumen.
There's a big theory that Milchek and Dylan's Audi are friends, and that Milchek got Dylan the job. So there's something to maybe something to that.
I think they're cool, but I don't know if they're friends because he fired him like it wasn't shit.
So then Milchek calls in to remove the Glasgow protocol, which is that's what they had on Helly to allow her to exist with all that shit. And she turns back into Helly R while she's underwater. So the last time she was alive, she was getting her ass tackled by Kobelvik. And then she wakes up and she's getting drowned by Irv. That is some trauma right there.
Mm-hmm.
And then
you can tell, like, the acting is so good because she's acting, and I'm assuming she was definitely underwater, right? So, like, the actress is drowning and then does that face recognition thing and goes completely still in the water. It was amazing. Like, the acting here, we really can't talk enough about how, like, their transitions alone are amazing.
Oh, did you see our girl from Penguin won Best Actress in the Critics' Choice Awards last night?
Good for her. I'm happy for her. But wait, the girl, the hangman or her mom?
The hangman.
The mom got shafted. By the way, hey, Human Help, welcome to the chat.
And then we get one of the best scenes I've seen in this show. And I actually have the video of this. I'm gonna try to do one video a week so we don't get booted. But you also got to see the video of this because this is fantastic.
Irving B. Stand!
He's so serious right now.
You have threatened collegial murder in the pond of Woes Hollow. For this there can...
Because what? Hold on. He's reading this like there's a cross-reference index. You can go to a glossary and say collegial murder, which place? Oh, Woes Hollow. All right, read this. Like, he is so tapped in. So you're right. He could just be like the most locked in nigga in any job ever. Because he's like, I'm gonna make up some protocol right here, right now, and I'm gonna punish you. And it's everything he says from here. He doesn't stutter. Like, he's not. It's like
it's all off the top.
He's locked in. He's employee of the year for sure.
It's like J.R. Ryder on Hot 97.
I'm not from that city.
Yeah,
I don't know what city that is. It's from Detroit.
Be no penalty but immediate and permanent dismissal. There shall be no formal valediction, catered or otherwise.
Why do they got on long underwear?
Valediction.
Why they got on long underwear in jumpers?
Well, I think that's how they dressed them so that they wouldn't die in the cold, because they got them long johns will save your ass. When I was in the snow last week, them long johns had me with my coat open. Okay, so apparently valediction is the action of saying farewell. This show and their vocab is:
there shall be no formal valediction, catered or otherwise. Your Audi will be notified.
He said no outgoing waffle party for you, huh?
Notified forthwith.
Did she dye her hair? Wasn't her hair like extra red?
And she's so wet because it's because of her hair's come together. But Helly is like, what in the fuck? Because you're right. Like, not only forget about being tackled, she went from the gala to outside. She's like, what the fuck happened?
Irv! I'm sorry! I should have listened! It's okay! It's all okay!
Irv is like, my watch has ended. He's at pieces. Like, my watch is ending. I've done what I could.
Hang in there is interesting because they had that picture of Irv, remember, with the micro dated video, and they had that picture of Dylan holding the buttons, and it said "hang in there," that they were hiding in there. So what if he hid something there for her? Because he said, "Remember, hang in there." Because here's the thing. Irv had a mission of his own, right? He just gave up. He just sacrificed himself to out Helena. But he was trying to find that dark room down there. So I think Dylan is going to be the one to take up that hunt, to be looking for that dark room now, because he's not there no more.
I love that.
Please refrain from any further speech, as you are no longer authorized to consort with any severed employee, nor they with you.
Leave him alone!
Turn around!
He the Benny Gesserit. He just did the voice, you know? He just did the voice.
Yeah, he did. But Irving is doing this because he wants to, by the way, because Irving could have went John Wick on all them motherfuckers in that moment. I just really believe Irving had it in him. Irving could have snapped Milchick's neck if he really, really wanted to. Also, by the way, sorry, it's important to say, as soon as Helly switched back, he was like, I am so sorry. Like, he was like, this is for the greater good. I did not mean to harm you. I would never do that to you, but like, I had to do that. And honestly, the ends did justify the means, because he was correct and he had to manhandle her. So I was like, I wasn't mad at Irv at all. And I think that Irv's true self loves Helly and is like, who the fuck is this bitch who's trying to be Helly? Because
that's why he was like consoling her when she switched back.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. He was comforting her because he was like, I did not want to hurt you. I'm sorry.
Milchick harkened and hit that voice though was good.
Leave him alone!
Turn around!
Look at the face acting here. So good.
He don't give a fuck. He's over it.
Leave him alone!
This is really like in a black movie in the 90s. Where it's like, don't take my baby. Don't take my baby. Don't take my baby.
Please press play.
That's what was happening. He dying and Dylan's like, don't take my baby. Don't take him from me right now. That's what happened.
I really thought he was gonna kiss him. I thought he was gonna be like, bye. Like, I really thought he was gonna get his last lick. Look at him, he's smirking.
Walk into the forest.
It's like when Penguin was sending the hangman to walk, like she thought she was about to walk to her death.
Like, I want him to like cup his chin and be like, haha, got your ass.
Your workspace will be cleared, and any personal items discarded. Your file, including any and all professional interactions and personal relations, will be purged and destroyed. It will be as if you, Irving B., never even existed nor drew a single breath upon this earth.
Wait, hold on. Does that mean he can take them out of their memories?
That might be one of the protocols. That's interesting.
Oh, fuck. I hope not. That's what I didn't catch him until then. Like, I'm like, yeah, you can erase him, but like, he'll still be a part of the team. But I'm like, damn, what if they make him forget about Irv altogether? That'd be
Well,
crazy.
in the trailer, they had a Irv face carved melon party, like they had for Bert when he was retired. So I'm wondering if they just tell them that he's retired. That'd be interesting. I'd be interested to see what happens.
Fucking suck, bro.
May Kier's mercy follow you into the eternal dark. Now.
So intense. That was an incredible scene. That was an incredible scene.
He went out. He wanted to go out.
I'm fascinated how this show is going to handle death, right? Because essentially this is death, right? Technically you could bring him back, but what would be the reason that they ever let Irv's Innie come back, right? So we might not ever see Irv's Innie anymore. If this show wants to like have a meaningful death, this would be like the meaningful death that triggers everything that happens afterwards. Because it wasn't Bert. It was kind of Bert that set Irv on this path, but Irv's death is the one that's going to like set all the rest of the innies like on the path that they're on, right? And so I'm really interested to see how this show handles death, because the faces that they were all making were like someone's about to get executed. That's what it looked like. Like you're watching an execution.
No, but I mean, he is.
Yeah.
He is, and truly.
So I think that's such a fascinating idea. And we still get to keep the actor on the show because we can get adventures with his Audi. So it's like the kind of the best of both worlds with that. So that was the end of episode 4. So now what are you looking forward to in episode 5?
I have no idea where we're gonna go. Like, I mean, who the fuck would have guessed that we'd have a Tundra fucking in the middle of the night episode? Like, so I don't know where we're gonna go from here. I also hope there's 10 episodes. I'm not sure though. I know there was 9 last season. But I, like you said, they're going at an industry pace. A lot of shit's happening. So I think I'm just excited to get Helly, to see how Helly will tell her story and what this means for Mark. Like, I would like for Mark to put his game face back on, because I think that the thing about Mark and Helly is that they could be a power couple, but like Helly would not. It's kind of like in Silo when Walker was doing all that for what's her damn name? For her ex-wife, and it was like, bro, she's not gonna want it like that. Like, she'd rather go out her own way. So I feel like the same thing. Helly and Mark can be a couple, but Helly's not gonna forget about Miss Casey. She's gonna be a great second wife. You know what I mean? Like, she's not gonna be jealous about that at all. So I think that and I also am curious to see if integrated Mark has the same, if Audi integrated Mark has the same feelings that any Mark had before integration. That would be very interesting for me.
So we had 100 people watching concurrently on all different platforms. So thank you all for watching today. That was excellent.
And how many likes do we have?
I don't know. I don't watch that.
I need them likes to go up. I need 105 likes. I need some illegal immigrant likes in this chat.
Before we get out of here, let's check back in with the chat. Human Help said, if you watch the underwater scene, Helly R's eyes bug out when she returns from being Helena, like the claymation video in episode 1 with the bobbing for pineapples. That's true. She did look like that when she was bobbing for fucking pineapples. DJ Rated R says, why didn't Dylan come down from up that cliff? Listen, Dylan is a hefty man. As a hefty man, that's my dog, but like, I wouldn't have been able to get there.
Down there.
I wouldn't have been able to get there.
He had the best seats in the house.
Hang in there, some sort of dog whistle, absolutely. It's from they wouldn't even know what that colloquial term means if it wasn't on that poster. So that definitely is a dog whistle. And we still don't know what the Audi Irv did after OTC ended banging on Bert's door. We still haven't gotten that. So I think we absolutely have to get that at some point. DJ Rated R said Milchek lost control, which he did.
That's a good point.
And Human Help said, I think after this troubling incident, Seth Milchek will be demoted and Harmony Cobell will be invited back. She did say Mr. Milchek can't handle it. She said, listen, Helena, you know he's DEI. You can't put a DEI person in charge of the Severance floor.
Yeah, you know, this is not a black job.
No, this is not a black job. Get a nice good one of us true believers back down there. He don't believe.
Human Help.
Check the video. He put the pictures of, y'all gave him some fresh ass photos of Black Kier.
He didn't even appreciate
it. And he didn't even appreciate that shit.
He wasn't even grateful for real. I just want to say, like, yeah, the theories in the chat are very real. Welcome to the chat at the last minute. MJ Farron, please like and subscribe. I think, okay, so I am sad about Irving. I do hope this is not the last time we see his innie, because that is too sad, and I hope they don't wipe their thoughts. And I think that it's funny that Cobell, this theory is like maybe Cobell is better than Milchek, but like they was running laps on Cobell too, so Cobelvic. So I don't know
Helena
that that's
tried to unalive herself under Cobelvic.
Correct, and was successful if it wasn't for Mark. And then somebody else said that. So the theory is that maybe this brings Cobelvic back because they're gonna demote Milchek, which I know he'll be pissed as fuck. And I am grateful for everybody. For everybody here. Human Help wants to know where else are we streaming to. I think we stream to. We stream on
Twitter.
Brandon's Twitter, on Brandon's YouTube as well, and then on Facebook. I think Brandon's Facebook probably, which we should
Facebook tonight,
have. Okay, maybe we should eventually have our own Facebook. But yes, we are doing that.
Yeah, I think we're gonna make a Twitch channel where we was watching.
We got to do all that shit. It's so, I'm honest to God, it's just us two. So like, if you guys want to help, if anyone knows what the fuck they're doing with this stuff, and it's helpful with clips, because we really need help finding clips and like posting them. So hit us up if you guys are interested in supporting the show in any way. But yeah, thank you guys so much for being here. Brandon, did you say what you're looking forward to?
No, because I don't have no theories, because I have no idea. I would have. You could have gave me 100 guesses on what episode 4 would have been like, and not a single one would have been this. Not a single one would have been this. Because I was
like, I love a show that when it kicks in, this is how, you're right, this is how industry was. Because when the show kicks in, I forgot what the fuck happened in the last episode. I love that, because I'm already like, because I don't have to do any like, oh wait, let me go back and rewind. I don't need no recap. Let's just go and I'll integrate later. And so I love that about this show, that they're not relying on the narrative so much that you have to like be tapped into everything. Like you're gonna get the whole story no matter what, and no matter when and how much you go in and out. But yeah, there's no way this is the last time we see any Irving B, and there's no way this is the last time we see Cobell Big. Death to Helena, you know what I mean? Like and justice for Irving. And I think that people actually, for some reason, liked my encouragement at the end. So may everyone never wake up in the wilderness in long johns and a fur coat and not know that you're in a simulation. And may all of your outdoor retreat team bonding operations be at the beach.